Hi, my name is Terry Pichor. I'm the executive chef at Sonora Resort on Sonora Island, British Columbia. Today I'm going to be preparing a dish for the 20-minute meals segment for the Vancouver Sun. The dish I'm going to be preparing today is a classic Tuscan dish. Typically it would be served in the summer with fresh heirloom tomatoes. Today I'm doing a bit of a take on it and using some more seasonal ingredients, some wild mushrooms, olive bread, and seared halibut. The first step for the dish is to take some bread. Today I've chosen a black olive bread. This dish was originally created to use up day-old bread. So it doesn't really matter what bread you use. I just thought the olive bread would go nice with this dish. So start by slicing the bread. We're just going to lay the cubes of bread out on our bake sheet. The oven has been preheated at 350 degrees, and this is going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. You want the bread to have a crust on the outside, but you don't want it to be crunchy all the way through. The second step to the recipe is the pine nut salsa verde. The bread's in the oven. We'll leave it there for 10 to 15 minutes. To the base of a food processor, add 2 cloves of garlic. Pulse the garlic until it's into small pieces. Otherwise you'll end up with big chunks if you add all the ingredients first. Then to the base, add 1/8 of a cup of pine nuts, a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, half a teaspoon of chili flakes, 1/8 of a cup of capers, just a pinch of sugar. The salsa verde is a very tart and acidic sauce, and the sugar just sort of balances out a little bit. This sauce also goes really well with any kind of grilled meats. It's very versatile. Half a cup of packed basil, and half a cup of picked flat leaf parsley, and about 1/4 cup of the nice finishing olive oil. And then just pulse all the ingredients together. The next step to the recipe is to saute the mushrooms and the red onion together. Start by removing the skin of the onion. Cut the ends off, then cut it in half. Peel the skin off. Then cut it in half one more time. And then we're just going to do a thin julienne on it. So over medium-high heat, you want to use a heavy bottom saute pan. To the pan, heat a film of olive oil. I have a mix of wild mushrooms in my bowl here. There's several different kinds in here. We have yellowfoots, chanterelles, black trumpets, and cremini mushrooms. Once the oil is hot, just smash your clove of garlic to release some of the oils and add it to the olive oil in your pan. A couple signs to look for while you're heating the oil is you'll see the bubbles start to form around the garlic, and you'll see the oil start to smoke. When you start to see that happen, add your red onion to the pan, a pinch of salt, and about a cup of mixed mushrooms. Once the mushrooms release their juices and the onions start to become translucent, you can just deglaze with a little bit of sherry vinegar. Deglazing just lifts all the little bits from the bottom of the pan, all the flavor from the mushrooms. And then just remove the mushrooms from the heat. So I'm just gonna check on the bread. And again, you want the bread to be crusty around the edges, but still soft in the center. So now that the mushrooms, onions are cooked, I'm gonna add the olive bread to the pan. The bread will become a little bit soft, but hold its texture and absorb a lot of the flavors from the onions and the mushroom. And then just toss it all together. And then we'll just set that aside. I'm just gonna chiffonade some fresh flat leaf Italian parsley, just to add a little bit of freshness to the salad. And then we're gonna toss in the spinach. You want the spinach to wilt just slightly, but not all the way through. You can see that the pan is starting to smoke. That's a good indication that it's hot enough to sear the fish. So we add it when it's been off the heat for a bit. You just want to leave the fish. One of the biggest mistakes people make is by trying to touch the fish right away. Everybody wants to touch the fish, but just leave it sit and it'll release itself from the pan. So the fish is 75% cooked on one side. We're just gonna give it a flip. See, it has a nice golden brown crust. Then we're gonna add a clove of garlic to the pan and some butter. Tilt the pan and baste the fish with the foamy butter for another minute. When the butter starts to brown, it starts to give off a nutty flavor. And then remove the fish from the heat. So now that all the components for the dish are ready, we're ready to plate it. The bread salad really can be served just warm. It doesn't have to be extremely hot. Top it with the halibut. And then just finish it with some of the salsa verde.